Alex, after a 1 year break, you're back playing at the Fly this year. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's exciting to we get back to the probably the best sixes competition in Europe that I know of at the moment at like a club level. So I'm really excited to get back involved with it because I enjoy the sixes after coming back. Obviously playing in Birmingham, Alabama, with GB. So I want to keep that momentum going with my sixes lacrosse, especially with the Olympics with a possibility. So I think keeping up to the best level of keeping my sixes at the best level it can be is important to me.
And you've switched allegiances this time round from Rise to Hustle. And you've also been named as Hustle's men's team icon for 2023. What does that mean to be recognised as someone who sort of embodies the ethos of the Fly and demonstrates the qualities that it takes to be a top sixes player?
Yeah, it's really nice to be recognised, obviously individually. I'm just looking forward to getting back out there with the guys that get picked on my team and go and trying to win it again. Obviously 1-for-1 when playing, so you need to make it 2-for-2. Yeah, so it's nice to be individually recognised, but I think most importantly, it's just trying to create the best competition going.
And as you mentioned, you obviously know what it takes to win the Fly, having helped Rise to victory in 2021. You scored 3 goals in a tight final against Forge. What was it like to win that competition?
Yeah, it was obviously the first fly that was ever done. Yeah, it was good. It's always nice to win, no matter what it is. From a game of flipping Monopoly to Uno, I don't like losing. So yes, it was nice winning with the guys we had on our team. We had a really good squad that year. Yeah, I still think that was probably one of the best squads that's ever been at the Fly. We won it with. So hopefully we have a similar sort of squad this year around and we can do it again.
And was there anything that you learnt during that Fly event that you think you could use to help Hustle at this year's event?
Uh, Yeah, definitely some things from that event. Obviously, with GB and Alabama as well, that's a lot of things learned along my sixes road in a sense. I think there's a lot of useful little uh, tricks and understanding that's important because it can look from the outset of running up and down and make it really fast paced, but there is definitely some fundamental tactics and understanding that's needed to be able to get the most out of your team and yourself. I think definitely a sport where the unprepared can easily lose to a lot more prepared that might not be as skillful.
And as you've mentioned a couple of times, you played at the World Games for Great Britain last year. What was that like as a general experience?
It was probably one of the best lacrosse experiences I've ever had, to be perfectly honest. It was we had a really good team, a really good team ethos. I think we, as a squad and as a unit, we laid the foundation hopefully for something great moving forward with GB and hopefully me or younger members get the chance to play in the Olympics. Hopefully it's me, but you never know. I could be old by then. Uh, but I think it was really important to be able to get out there and play the way we did. Obviously, we beat Australia, which is obviously normally our biggest rivals on any international stage. We gave Canada the best game of the whole tournament, and you saw what they did to the USA in the final. So obviously we lost to Japan in overtime, which was really unfortunate. But I think if we played that game again, we would have them. I just think we had a really good team bond and team ethos, and we laid the foundation for something that I believe is going to be really great in the future.
And how do you think that tournament and playing against some of the best players in the world has helped you as a Sixers player personally?
Uh, it definitely helps. You definitely see you see what works well and what doesn't work well, and you then obviously want to do the things that work well and maybe put the other stuff to one side. I think especially looking at the Canadians because obviously they were the standout team by a long way playing against them. I think their ability to finish the ball close in front of the net uh, was seen by all. I think the one game they had like 20 shots and scored 18 goals. So their efficiency was very commendable. And obviously, they were very good at their two-man games because of box lacrosse. So I think there's definitely some attributes of their game into ours. But I also think you also need to have your own identity and finding what works for you as a squad. So yeah, it was definitely useful and eye-opening. Because I would say, like the Japanese, for example, played a very different game. They're very fast-paced, very one-on-one, very direct. So um, I think different teams came with different styles, and it's just finding the blend of them that works best for your group of players you have.
Just thinking forward to the Fly 2023, you'll be playing under head coach Sam Patterson. He's someone that you've got experience of working with in the England setup. What's he like as a coach, and how are you feeling teaming back up with him?
Yeah, we good. I played with Sam in Israel. He was a player still when I did my first World Championships, and obviously I've played with him for Cheshire and other sports. So I was known him as a player at the first and foremost. So I have a good reputation and relationship with him in that sense. But as a coach, I think he's coached me a couple of times. I get on well with him. I think, you just bounce ideas off each other. Obviously, he's a lot more of a defensively minded coach. Obviously, he knows offense now. I'm not, but he that's the position he played. So hopefully, we can bounce ideas off each other going forward. And he has some good strategies and game plans to get us over the line against some tricky opposition.
Just finally, you're the only Hustle player to have been announced for 2023 so far. There'll obviously be a few more announcements coming over the coming weeks. But what sort of player are you hoping will be joining you, and sort of what type of player thrives in a Sixes environment, do you think?
Uh, I think you need to be. I think being an athlete, as you can see from all the other fly competitions, any sort of sixes is important. Like, you need to be able to get up and down the field quickly and be able to play offense and defense. You can't really hide on a sixes field. But I definitely think intelligence and smarts is a really undervalued category because of what's going on. You need the cool, calm composure to be able to make the right decisions in it. Because if you run down hothead and take a shot from a terrible angle and it goes past the goal, the other team have got the ball, and then you've got 5 guys on your team looking at you like, oh, I've got to run back and play defense now. So I think for me, I always enjoy playing with intelligent players and players that understand the moment and the game dynamic, because that's a hard thing to teach, but if they have it, it makes playing a lot more fun and enjoyable, because you can be on the same wavelength with things. And if you call, oh, we're going to run this play, guys, does everybody understand it? Everybody does. And there's nobody stood 4 yards by the restraining line having no idea what's going on. So I definitely think intelligence and like lacrosse IQ is a very undervalued skill set. And then obviously you've got the obvious ones which people see as the athleticness of people, which is definitely still valuable. But yeah, so that. And then lastly, I'd say great stick skills. Obviously, you look at the Canadians, they'll catch a ball in a phone box. So you need to be able to have that confidence with your stick to be able to make the right passes and catch everything. Just, I think good fundamental stick skills is always important in any area of lacrosse. So it's definitely a transferable one.